or rather speaking for the Presidential Secretariat for his bid. Then Nithi Bridge bus crash, the ones we lost. They're giving the images, the faces and the names of some of those that Kenya lost in the crash. There is the driver, Paul Muruthi Kamau. He was 56. He died in the accident. The bus company has confirmed. Conductor was Simon Nzige, who worked closely with Kamau, also perished. Agnes Kawira and Nicholas Ario, a couple, had traveled to Meru for dowry talks. Kawira died. Ario is missing. Said Muguika is a resident of Majengo in Meru town and perished in the crash. Ken Mwenda is an IT expert who also died in the accident. Jen Karambu Mwithimbu had traveled to Meru from Mombasa for the burial of her brother. Dr. Mary Mwandesha, 28, from the Kwamaik estate in Kilifi town, was heading to Voi in Taita Taveta County to pick up her appointment letter after a successful appointment as a resident doctor. Can imagine, very tragic and sad story for the faces. So far, talking about 34, the number of people who have been confirmed to have died as of yesterday from the Sunday crash. And of course, the age of the driver, like I said, is 56. Witnesses reported seeing the roof of the bus tear off when it hit guardrails and that it rolled several times down the rocky ground before hitting the riverbank 40 meters below with a thud. Very sad story again. Now, special report. Rigathi Gachagua and the making of Mr. Moneybags. He does not flaunt his riches and neither does he leave it off. But the Mathira MP is at the center of a complex network of deals that have earned him and his associates of billions of shillings. This is a story that you can read on page 13 of the Daily Nation. At the front page of the Standard, IEBC defense trio as Central Farm goes quiet. Chebukati claims a deal with Smartmatic and its local agent Seamless Limited is above board, but the mother company is yet to come clean on the matter despite assurances. There's a quotation here. One of the conditions in the tender document was that the bidder should provide a detailed support and maintenance plan and attach documentary proof of ICT technical support staff with a registered office in Kenya. Smartmatic complied with this condition by providing a local partner that should be Seamless Limited. Right, and of course, you also see a different statement that has been issued by the IEBC talking about the stickers that are the center of a storm and non-strategic materials, and therefore sort of trying to put away the attention that has come into this standoff. And we'll be looking at that statement that came from the IEBC yesterday, talking about that the deal or the contract between Smartmatic and the IEBC is above board for the supply, delivery, installation, testing, commissioning, support and maintenance of the Kenya Integrated Election Management System, that is KIMS. And of course, they're saying that one of the conditions in the tender document was that the bidder should provide a detailed support and maintenance plan and attach documentary evidence. This is the same quotation that the Daily Nation has taken. And to ensure successful implementation of the project, the Commission holds regular meetings with Smartmatic to review the project status and ensure delivery of milestones in line with the elections operations plan. To date, the project's progress is on track. And before Smartmatic was contracted, the Commission had an inventory of 45,000 KIMS kits, out of which 41,000 were in good condition. In accordance with the contract and as ordered by the Commission, Smartmatic has applied 14,100 additional KIMS kits to the Commission, bringing total number of KIMS kits that are in good working condition to 55,100. Then the statement from IBC continues to say that preparation and dispatch of KIMS kits for the general election is currently ongoing. Each kit is being loaded with electronic voter identification and results transmission system softwares, SIM cards of network operators, as well as SD cards containing registered voters' biographic and biometric data for each polling station. And the KIMS kits are being deployed to 46 to 29 polling stations, down from the earlier 46,233 polling station. This was after 7 polling stations in Kimilili constituency were merged into 3. That is new information that you're learning. The Commission has approved the changes for gazettement. It is important to note that there will be 6 backup KIMS kits in each county assembly ward. For easy identification of the KIMS kits, Smartmatic is required to provide stickers to aid in labeling each of the KIMS kits for purposes of packaging and dispatch to all polling stations. The deployment of KIMS kits is currently underway. It is important to note that the stickers are non-strategic election materials. The stickers were printed based on the details of the Gazette and notice published on 1st of July 2022. The information therein is available to the public and can be accessed on the Commission's website through the following link. Of course, they've provided the link where it also contains that the stickers contain information on the polling station, polling center, ward, constituency and county, as well as a unique barcode. Then continues to say that the Commission has continuously facilitated presidential candidates and or their agents to inspect the ongoing preparation of the KIMS kits at the factory in Nairobi. This collaboration is still ongoing. And finally, the Commission says that it would like to reassure the nation that it remains committed to delivering a free, fair and credible 2022 general election that meets the democratic aspirations of the people of Kenya. The statement has been signed by the IEBC chairman, that is Wafula Chebukati, of course, talking about the update on what has become a controversial matter in the country, with the DCI claiming that this was irregular, that some 3 Venezuelans did not have any contracts with the IEBC, neither with Smartmatic, and therefore questions continue to linger. But IEBC is trying to quell all of them and say that in fact those stickers, they're just labels for the KIMS kits to indicate the details of the polling station, the center, the ward, and every other detail that is required to be in a position to deploy the KIMS kits to the various polling stations across the country. And that's a matter that we'll continue to pursue. Still on the front page of the Standard, you'll see Raila promises border riders 1 billion shilling fund. He was meeting with the border riders in Nairobi. And of course, also talking about what will happen to improve the conditions for importation and purchase of border of course, the motorcycles here in the country. Then there's another story that you'll see 10 medals, hits and misses at Oregon. Of course, Kenya finished 4th after showing quite a performance that Kenyans had expected would be a better one. Then plunged to death, country mourns 34 Nithi victims. The families and friends come to terms with loss of lives after Sunday's accident at Nithi River as death toll rises to 34. Police say talks are on with Kenya to redesign the highway. And of course, the modern coast bus that was involved in the Nithi Bridge accident has been captured there in an image. And there was a communication yesterday sort of suspending operations of the fleet of modern coast following that incident on Sunday evening. So that's what's going on the 2 dailies, including another story that is at the back page of the Daily Nation that talks about send-off festivities begin as Uhuru tenure at tail end. Of course, we know that we are just about 13 days to the general election, and therefore the president at the moment can execute any function that is under the Constitution. What he may not do is to make appointments and some of those functions after the 9th of August. He cannot appoint a judge, he cannot appoint an ambassador, he cannot appoint a cabinet secretary, neither can he fire anyone because that will be a transitional period. He should wait for the new government to come into office. So let's take a look at some story here. Some more details about what I've just been telling about the Nithi Bridge and the death toll from the Nithi River tragedy that has risen to 34. A search for 5 missing passengers entered second day. But even as the multi-agency team continued with the operation to pull the wreckage of the ill-fated modern coast bus from the river, the National Transport and Safety Authority, that is NTSA, has halted the company's operations indefinitely pending investigations into this incident, as Safi Godana now reports.
The wreckage of the ill-fated bus remained 40 meters down the river as search and rescue mission resumed Monday. Luggage of the 40 passengers littered all over as the multi-agency team combed through the wreckage to look for bodies that could have been trapped. The bus manifest indicates that 45-seater bus had only 5 unoccupied seats at the time of the accident. According to Tharaka Nithi Base Commander Philip Ekakoro, the bus was heading to Mombasa from Meru when it hit an oncoming car before its driver lost control and hit the wall guarding Nithi Bridge and eventually the guardrails and rolled down into the river.
Looking at the manifest, the bus had 45 passengers. Tumeweza kupata kwa count kwa watu 42. Bado tunaendelea kutafuta wale watatu.
Subsequently, a multi-agency investigation has been launched into the crash, which includes an evaluation of Modern Coast Bus Company's safety operational standards. In the meantime, 31 buses operated by the company have all been grounded to establish their operational safety, even as families of the passengers jumped company offices in Chuka and Chogoria hospitals in Tharaka Nithi in search of their loved ones.
The process of tracing and informing the families of the victims will be done through in conjunction with Kenya Red Cross Society and the County Commissioner's Office.
Residents of Tharaka Nithi are now calling on the government to relook at the design of the bridge, even as the neighboring Meru County government pledged to cater for hospital and funeral expenses.
This will include support for the burial of those who have lost their lives, and also we are going to support medical treatment of those who are undergoing treatment both at Chuka and Chogoria Hospital.
The Sunday incident is not the first to happen at the Nithi Bridge, which for a long time has been known to be a major black spot on the Meru-Nairobi highway. 158 people have perished at the Nithi Bridge in a period of 5 years. In August 2000, tragedy befell Tharaka Nithi after 45 people were killed and 27 injured after a passenger bus plunged into the same river. The Tofik bus was also traveling from Maua to Mombasa. In 1998, 56 people aboard a stagecoach bus were killed. In 2021, 5 people lost their lives while 4 others were injured at the same spot after a truck collided with a matatu. The latest road tragedy brings to 2,696 the number of people who have lost their lives this year in road accidents. This is 8.3% higher compared to the same period last year. In the meantime, the management of Direct Line Insurance have sent a message of condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones and quick recovery to those injured. Safi Godanamamu, Citizen TV.
Now, the management of the Modern Coast Bus is facing criticism over failing to act on the ill-fated bus driver's complaints over faulty brakes on the bus. The deceased driver, the late Paul Kamau Simba, is said to have complained to his wife that the bus he was driving had faulty brakes for about 2 weeks, but the management did not act. Paul's widow also says the company had been overworking the driver without pay, as Brenda Wanga now reports.
When the Mombasa-bound Modern Coast bus plunged into the Nithi River, it claimed the lives of over 30 people, amongst them the driver and conductor of the bus. In Mombasa, the family of the driver, Paul Kimani Simba, seek confirmation of the devastating news from his workplace.
Ndio tuliondoka tukaenda usiku kwa hiyo kampuni, tukakuta mabasi chaondoka ya saa 4 mwisho na wamefunga. Hivi leo tumelauka hapa kwa ofisi yao, kwa workshop yao, mahali magari zinakuja. Tukapata habari kwamba ndugu yetu ndio aliweza kufariki katika hiyo ajali wakiwa pamoja na Tani Boy.
His family, however, says Peter's death and those of the passengers could have been avoided had the company, Modern Coast Bus, heeded to the deceased repeated complaints.
Gari imeharibika, haitengenezwi, analia breki wiki mbili, hawatengenezi gari mpaka sasa ikamumaliza siku ya jana.
Lakini ni kama kampuni haikuchukulia hiyo kitu maanani. Maanake gari ilikuwa inakuja inafanywa service na hawasimami. Akifika asubuhi, jioni wanapiga return, wanarudi. Nafikiri gari haikuweza kushughulikiwa vizuri, na ndio kusudi jana ikaweza kupoteza brake na kuteremuka mpaka kwa mto.
The family says Paul was an experienced senior driver with over 30 years on the road. He was also the sole breadwinner for his wife and 2 children. The family, however, says the deceased had not received a salary for months from his employers.
Kutoka hiyo mwezi wa pili vile alirudi kazi mwezi wa pili mpaka saa hii hajawahi pokea mshahara. Ukimuuliza kama analipwa anasema tu anapatiwa tu allowance 1,000 basi.
In Meru, just kilometers from the black spot, a family struggles to process the death of their kin, coming just a day after the burial of another.
Sisi tuko na huzuni kifamilia kwa sababu tulikuwa tumekuja kwa sababu ya matanga ya my uncle. And mwirigi ndio tulikuwa na matanga on Friday.
Jen Karambu was passenger number 18 on the ill-fated bus and was meant to have travelled with her children back to Mombasa after the funeral.
Mtoto wake alitangulia, akasema atakutana Mombasa. Sasa my aunt akasema yeye wacha aende direct. So ndio tukapata habari.
Now this family is back to planning another funeral alongside the families of the over 30 people who lost their lives at the notorious black spot. The other families are awaiting the identification and release of their kin's bodies for burial and funeral arrangements, while some of the Muslim faith have already started burying their dead. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
All right, and so much more that you see in the 2 dailies, including on page 7 of the Daily Nation, where families mourn as death toll in Nithi accident rises to 34. And you see they are saying that authorities are quoted as saying that among the dead are 18 men, 14 women, and 2 young girls, of course, including some of the images of the persons that the country lost, and also the remains of the bus at the side of the river. You can see the sort of damage that occurred there. Very unfortunate. So they're asking a question: is it design or human error? Built over the deep Nithi River Valley along the Meru-Embu Road in the Nithi County, the Nithi Bridge is inviting due to scenic surroundings, but its steep descent and also caused dread. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the bridge became famous for claiming minutes as the vehicles plunged into the river. The accident reduced after the Kenya National Authority separated the descent section as you head to Chuka using strips, and approaching the bridge for Meru and Chuka sides. There are steep descents of about 2 kilometers, which include a sharp bend just below the bridge. From the Meru side, the road stretches along a hill on the right side and a deep valley on the left, leaving no escape route for descending. Vehicles may malfunction. And of course, in a past interview, the NTV, the Nithi Governor Njuki described the bridge as the most deadly in East Africa and Central Africa. In 2010, the governor listed the redesign of the bridge among his agenda in his first 100 days. Of course, he's been in office for 4 to 5 years now. According to a government engineer who sought a committee called the stretch need redesign, reckless driving was to blame for most of the accidents. He said that the road is clearly marked with warning signs. However, the bridge is located on the steep slope on both sides and has sharp bends, makes it risky. Reducing the steepness of the slope could help, he said. Of course, that's just a side story that is happening on the bridge. Then to politics, and you'll see the Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga says his government will review taxation on border borders to make them affordable. Odinga, who border operators in Nairobi, said if elected president, he will ensure the sector contributes in providing jobs. Stephen Leto has the details.
When meeting with border operators who endorsed his potential bid, Odinga said his government, if elected president, will pay attention on the border first by ensuring heavy taxation on imports and lower to make it affordable.
Mambo ya juu ya pesa, gharama ya pesa, wewe unanunua pikipiki 150 nalipa 300. Hayote itakwisha. Mtapata pesa pesa ambayo yake iko chini. Sawa. Hii badala ya kuendesha pikipiki watu wengine, wanaendesha wenyewe.
Border operators told Odinga that they have faith in leadership.
Sema unatuwekea pesa ya watu bodaboda kwa manifesto. Si namna hiyo? Si loni inawasumbua? Loni inawanyanyasa? Watu wa loni wanawanyang'anya mapikipiki? Wanalipisha mara 3 bei ya pikipiki?
Nation utupatie at least watu wakilisha State Hall.
Na viongozi wenu hapa na viongozi wenu wengine tunajua pale tuko, najua shida na ile changamoto ambayo mko nayo kama watu wa boda, najua pale tutakwenda.
Odinga further said his government will bring dignity to the border business, sure they are not harassed by the law enforcement agencies.
The people riding border are providing an essential service to society and must be treated with respect. And our must also be made user-friendly to the pedestrian, the cyclist, the border user, and to the motorists.
Watu wa executive order, bodaboda zote ambazo zimeshikwa kwa polisi ziwaachiliwe siku hiyo.
Zile bodaboda ambazo zimeshikwa tutawasiliana tuone aidha polisi kama zitaachiliwa before it.
Wale wanatumia barabara, watu wote ambao wanatumia barabara lazima waendeshe kwa njia nzuri wote. Si namna hiyo? Uwe gari, uwe matatu, uwe basi, uwe pikipiki, uwe hata mtu ya kuendesha mkokoteni, la uendeshe vizuri. Hatuwezi kubali watu fulani peke yake ndio wanalaumiwa.
Later attended the Muslim Women Raila event at the KIC, where the women lost the Raila Karwa ticket.
Furaha sana kuona kama Waislamu wajiunga pamoja na wanasema sasa wao nataka wabaliwe kama binadamu wengine.
Tumekata shauri kwa kauli mbiu aliyejali kina mama na kutupa hadhi Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo.
Our constitutions actually based on Christian law. So you don't necessarily have to come a Christian court. We say that our Muslims have a right to have the Catholic court, and that's why it is in the constitution today.
Mtu ambaye namuona ni nyota ambaye anasimamia haki zangu mimi kama Muislamu na Wakenya wengine.
Odinga heads to Meru County tomorrow to rally the region to his bid. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
In the meantime, Kenya Kwanza President candidate William Ruto moved to boost voter turnout in the upcoming August election, imploring the electorate in his strongholds to facilitate 100% turnout to ensure a decisive win. Ruto, who campaigned in Nandi, Wungeshu and Elgeyo Marakwet County, also called for a 6-piece voting pattern for his UDA party. His allies saying the DP needed numbers in the August House to push through the alliance agenda. Chamutaigoin reports.
As the campaigns inches closer to the penultimate period before Kenyans go to the polls, the presidential candidates are literally hitting the road in their bid to show their numbers and get around one victory. The DP, who mounted a series of rallies in Nandi, Singishu, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, pushed 100% turnout, telling every voter to make their vote count.
Watu wasingishu kwa sababu hapa ni nyumbani. Mimi nataka niwaombe, tulipiga kura last election tukapata 86%. 10% hawakuonana. Hiyo ni watu karibu 80,000. Mimi nauliza nyinyi, mwaka huu oyeleye, mwaka huu tunataka kura 100%. Hapana 99.
Na sisi tutaunga mkono kwa sababu hapa Rift Valley kuanzia MCA mpaka president ni UDA, yani suta.
Hapa nyumbani hata 99%, hapa ni 100%. Lakini hivi nimeamka hapa nimeona kama ni Murang'a. Kwa sababu hata Murang'a Huyu William Ruto ni mmoja wetu, na Mount Kenya yote tumeamua kwamba rais wa 5 wa Kenya ni William Samoei Ruto.
DP and his allies mounting an aggressive campaign against his critics led by Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter, his says counterpart Swarup Mira, Silas Tiren of Ben, and Alex Togol, Geo Marakwet Governor, telling the electorate to vote them out in the Yoga election.
William Ruto huyu nataka akifika Nairobi kama rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya akuwe na wajumbe wa kutosha wale ambao watamsaidia kuendesha shughuli ya serikali hii ya Kenya. Ile mateuli amepitia, na mimi leo niko nasikia hasira sana kwa sababu wale waliokuwa wakishiriki ibada ya kuanga njama ya kuangamia William Ruto wanataka kura hapa Nandi Hills hapa. Tarehe 9 ikifika wanakwenda nyumbani, wazenda nyumbani. Tutaleta ya UDA kama Nandi County kuanzia MCA aka governor.
Ruto chiding his main rival Raila Odinga on his resolve to skip the presidential debate, even as his allies boasted that theirs was the team to beat.
Tafadhali wewe kuja kwa date, mimi nakungojea debate kwa sababu Wakenya wanataka kujua hii timu mnatiala ni kitu. Wakenya wanataka kujua hizi hadithi za kaya bunwasi ni kitu gani. Hata kama huna asa, hata kama huna mpango, at least utueleze maana timu na maana ya tiara. Watu wanataka kujua.
Katika kaunti ya Nandi tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, sisi tuko tayari kukupigia kura na tutaamka asubuhi na mapema kupiga kura ukwe rais wa 5 ya Kenya, kwa sababu uko na plan ya guarantee minimum returns. Ukuje ufilie maneno ya machines ya chai ile huko inasumbua vijana, ukuje uhakikishe masala wana ile as fund, alafu twende your excellency.
The leaders calling for a peaceful transition from the Kenyatta administration.
Kuna viongozi wengine wanapanga siasa ya kugawanya watu kwa makabila na kwa sehemu. Mimi nataka niseme hawa viongozi wafungie virago tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 wakwende nyumbani.
Tumeshikana pamoja kusapoti Kenya kwanza na William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua kwa sababu sisi tunaamini hii ndio.
Apologies for that. Now, selected Kenyans among engineers, elders, freedom fighters, students, people living with disabilities will from August access the Uhuru Gardens Monument and Museum before it's fully opened to the public. In a media orientation and tour of the newly redeveloped National Monument and Museum, attended by President Kenyatta, the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Robert Kariuki, said more work to be done before the museum is accessed by the general public. President Kenyatta urged Kenyans to use the facility, which boasts 33 galleries and over 1,000 artifacts, to learn the country's rich history.
The water fountain and the lions with pedestals is what urged President Uhuru Kenyatta and media executives at the redeveloped Uhuru Gardens National Monument and Museum. Being proceeded to the Hall of Witness, where they witnessed the sights and sounds of Kenya before walking inside the Tunnel of Martyrs, which contains the memories of Kenyans who have paid the ultimate price for their country from independence. The tour takes us to the People's Gallery, which showcases the different cultures of the country before we get a glimpse of the former president's exhibitions. The Birth of Kenya Gallery and the Road Gallery are also among 16 galleries already completed by the Kenya Defense Forces. These are the artifacts that a selected group of Kenyans will be allowed to access from August ahead of the official opening to the public.
August 5th. Our plan is to invite the chairman and deans of universities. 12th of August, invite those who in the build environment to see if it's viable. Going down to people living in communities to check for the amenities, infrastructure. It works for them because this facility is all inclusive. It's for all of us.
This initial phase, which is 3 months between now and the 1st of November, it will be a free phase. There will be no charges. Groups will not come here to pay, but the reason we're bringing to the systems and processed, and also to get feedback that will be plowed into the facility.
According to the Kenya Defence Force, they have a short, medium and long-term plan to fully complete the Memorial Park by 2025 through partnerships with different stakeholders.
Our plan is to initiate an endowment fund for the Uhuru Gardens monument. Actually, this is borrowed from the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. It's our vision that the corporates in this country will be able to put in seed money that will be ring-fenced and run separate and apart from the daily runnings of the museum. We'll be able to attract up to 2 million visitors per year.
On his part, President Uhuru Kenyatta urged media to help in informing Kenya of the country's rich history through the facility.
There's challenges, but there are bright spots that can inspire, that can give hope, that can encourage, that can build, that can create people. You know what I mean? They are there.
The president reiterated how he, together with the chief of defense forces, repossessed the land, said there's need for the next government to ensure that the facility is protected to enable more Kenyans benefit from it.
And it was really just a place that was a mess. And we all agree it was a shame. We are also hopeful that the next government will understand where we were coming from and be able to continue and push that. Because history doesn't end, it is just told.
The museum, which also has the house of the founding father of the nation, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, accommodates 5,000 people while it is open to the public.
Now, a story about the tour that one Honorable Martha made yesterday. She was in Thika during an event that commissioned her to present the concerns of the Mount Kenya region, and there she headed to Kitengela, which is in Kajiado County, for another wave of pains. Watch.
With 2 weeks to the August 9th federal election, the Azmoja One Kenya coalition received a major boost in a pursuit to occupy State House after its deputy presidential candidate Martha Karua was formally endorsed by the Mau Governing Council. Colorful ceremony that took place in Thika, Kiambu County was attended by Mau Mau veterans led by Mukami Kimathi, widow of Mau Mau veteran Bidan Kimathi, and elders from the Gikuyu, Embu and Meru communities. Gema. Raila Odinga's running mate, who was formally installed to steer Mount Kenya region's interest in governance, admitted that the current and past regimes have not been enough to provide adequate welfare for the fighters the first liberation.
Tumaini uko nayo kwa mwana wenu hata wakumbukeni.
Raila Odinga's running mate, noting despite the successes of the fight for independence, freedom fighters from various communities who rebelled against colonialism still struggle to meet basic commodities such as food.
Watoto wote wa Kenya wasome kutoka nursery, primary, secondary, university bila malipo yoyote. Tuko na lengo kupiga check uchumi wetu. Tuko na lengo la kuleta viwanda kwa kila viwanda mpya, watu wetu wapate kazi.
The Azimio Moja deputy president candidate urging the game elders to help Raila Odinga's administration, if elected, fight against corruption by sending leaders implicated in graft home at the August 9th polls.
Kwa hivyo tukiingia ombi lenu tatimika, na sio nyinyi mtafaidi peke yenu au vizazi vyenu, ni Wakenya wote.
From the Thika, Karua toured Kajiado County for a series of rallies in Bisil, Kajiado Town, Isinya and Kitengela, where the Azimio la Umoja Kenya team appealed the 463,000 registered voters to vote for the Baba na Martha ticket, as it guarantees better fare as contained Azimio manifesto.
Mimi naomba usipige kura kwa mtu ambaye unajua ameletwa kwa takata ya kupora Kenya. Iwe ni haki, hii ni pesa, sababu mambo yote inahitaji pesa ndio tuwapate.
With exactly 14 days to the Oaks General 9th election, the Azimio la Umoja One team says that Kajiado County will be considered for major infrastructure in Raila Odinga administration if elected. Seth Ole, Citizen TV, Kitengela, Kajiado County.
And the Kenya Kwanza running mate Rigathi Gachagua has hit out the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya team, accusing them of using the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, that is DCI, to harass the Independent Election Boundaries Commission, IEBC. Gachagua was speaking in an area where he met grassroots leads drawn from Kieni constituency. He called for 6-piece voting in of the UDA party. Martin Mune reports.
Rigathi Gachagua's back his home county of Nyeri on a vote hunting mission. Focus the vote-rich Kieni constituency, where the incumbent lawmaker Kanini Kega is defending his seat on a Jube ticket against the challenger Igathi's UDA party. Gachagua calling on voters to back the UDA candidate.
Hao viongozi wa Kenya wamesema kwa kauli moja, wamekataa mbunge wao kuwapeleka Azimio. Na wamema wataki kwenda Azimio sababu Azimio ni mpinzani. Na wananchi tuko mbaya mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, na ni vizuri watu wajue yeye ndio dada yetu, kati yetu na William Samoei Ruto.
And here, Gachagua and his allies pointing accusing finger at the DCI, who at the same time defending the IEBC.
Afanye kazi ya polisi. Mambo ya chaguzi hajui na hawezi elewa. Amekuwa drama, anaandika kwa magazeti, hakuna hata mmoja amepeleka koti faulu. Kama ameshindwa kudili na wakora, ni mambo ya uchaguzi atawezana naye? Ni mambo ya uchaguzi atawezana naye? Hii uchaguzi hapana IEBC na chaguzi ni wananchi. Kazi IEBC ni kwa sababu kura peke yake.
If you have serious issues, take them before the IEBC. Kama kuna jambo lolote ambalo chafanya, wacha nende ya kujaribu mpaka matope, atamkitafuta njia bila atajiuzuru.
Ruto's running mate later toured Embu County, where he held public rallies. Martin Munene, Citizen TV.
All right, and with that, we're taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Edin Sifa, who is the Secretary General of ODM, Steve Ogora, Advocate of the High Court, and Oliver Kipa, who is also an advocate.